Black boy spent his last $5 to help billionaire's disabled daughter, the next day. Please, someone help me. My daughter isn't breathing. The scream cut through the air in the supermarket parking lot like a knife. Jamal Washington, 16, dropped the bag of rice he had just bought and turned around. An Arab man in an impeccably expensive suit was carrying a small girl in his arms. The child was blue, her lips purple, her body limp. People passed by. They looked. They kept walking. She has asthma. The inhaler isn't working. Please. The desperation in the man's voice was absolute. Jamal ran. He didn't think. He just ran. Sir. I'm trained in first aid. He had taken a free course at the community center 3 months ago, thinking he would never use it. The man looked at Jamal, a skinny black teenager, worn clothes, sneakers with holes, and hesitated for just a second before despair won out. She hasn't breathed in almost a minute. Jamal picked up the girl. Maybe 5 years old, dark curly hair, brown skin. He checked her airways, positioned her correctly, and began rescue ventilations. 1, 2, 3. Has anyone called an ambulance? Jamal shouted. Yes. But they'll be a while, the man replied, his voice breaking. 4th breath. 5th. On the 6th, the girl coughed. Her lungs inflated. She began to cry, the most beautiful sound Jamal had ever heard. She's back. She's back. The man grabbed his daughter, tears streaming down his face. How can I thank you? How? Jamal stepped back, his hands still shaking from the adrenaline. No need to thank me. I just did the right thing. That's when he saw it. The bag of rice on the ground, torn open. The grains scattered across the dirty asphalt. His last $5, his entire week's worth of groceries, lost. The man saw it too. He saw the rice. He saw the sneakers with holes in them. He saw the torn public school backpack. He saw everything. Wait. Please. Your name? Where do you live? But Jamal was already walking away. He didn't want charity. He didn't want to explain that he had been living alone since his grandmother died 6 months ago. That he hid this from social services because he didn't want to go to a shelter. That those $5 were all he had until he got paid for mowing Mr. Chen's lawn on Saturday. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed out. The Arab man held his daughter close to his chest, whispering in Arabic, kissing her forehead repeatedly. Jamal disappeared between the cars. What he didn't see was the man handing his business card to the supermarket security guard. Find that boy. I don't care how much it costs. Find him. He also didn't see the name engraved in gold on the card, Faisal Al-Mansouri, CEO Al-Mansouri Energy Corporation. Jamal Washington had just saved the life of the daughter of one of Chicago's most powerful billionaires. And he had no idea that this choice, spending his last $5 to help an unknown child, would change his life in ways he couldn't even imagine. Jamal walked home. 4 kilometers under the scorching June sun. A tiny apartment on the 3rd floor of a building that had seen better days. Hot water worked 3 days a week, when it worked at all. He opened the door. The refrigerator was empty except for half a bottle of ketchup and 2 slices of stale bread. The cupboard was empty. That rice would be his food for the next 5 days until he got paid for mowing lawns. Jamal sat on the bed, a thin mattress on the floor, and looked at his torn school backpack. Math homework for Monday. English essay for Tuesday. But his stomach growled and his head ached. He thought of the girl. Of her eyes opening. Of the cry that meant life. It was worth it. Every penny was worth it. A knock on the door. Jamal frowned. No one ever knocked on his door. He got up and opened it a crack. Mrs. Chun, his 60-year-old Korean neighbor who lived downstairs. Jamal, dear. I made too much jjigae. Would you like some? She held out a steaming bowl of stew. Jamal felt tears sting his eyes. Mrs. Chun, I can't. You did my husband a favor by mowing his lawn. Let me do you a small favor. She placed the bowl in his hands. Eat while it's hot. Before he could respond, she was already heading down the stairs. Jamal looked at the bowl. Real food. Meat, vegetables, tofu. He ate slowly, savoring each spoonful, and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. But hope is fragile. And the next morning, Jamal would discover that the world had much bigger and much scarier plans for him. Because on the other side of town, in a marble and glass mansion, Faisal al-Mansuri was on the phone with his 5 best private investigators, saying, "Find that boy. Don't stop until you find him." And sitting next to him, new inhaler in hand, was his daughter Noor, 5 years old, with mild cerebral palsy affecting her legs, the reason he had returned early from the United Arab Emirates. "Daddy's going to find the boy who saved you," Faisal whispered, kissing the top of her head. "And I'm going to change his life forever." Because men like Faisal al-Mansuri did not forget debts. Especially when the debt was the life of the one he loved most. If you're enjoying this story about courage, sacrifice, and how one act of kindness can change everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out how Jamal Washington's life was about to be transformed in ways he could never have imagined. The next morning, Jamal woke up at 5:30 a.m. as usual. Saturday meant lawn mowing day. 3 houses paid $15 each. That was $45 that would keep him alive for another 2 weeks if he managed it well. He put on worn jeans and a paint-stained t-shirt. He borrowed a lawnmower from Mr. Chun and began the 2-mile walk to his first customer. The sun had barely risen when he arrived at Dr. Patterson's house. A retired white man, 70 years old, who always paid in cash. "Good morning, Jamal." Dr. Patterson opened the door. "I need to talk to you." Jamal's stomach tightened. "Did I do something wrong, doctor?" No. But my daughter is moving here. She's going to take care of the garden now." "I'm sorry, son." $15 less. 1 less meal a week. "I understand. Thank you for the opportunities, doctor." Jamal headed to the second house. Mrs. Morrison. She opened the door before he knocked. "Jamal, dear. My grandson got a job and needs money. I'm going to give him the gardening job. You understand, right? Minus $15. Of course, Mrs. Morrison. 1 house left. The Rodriguez family. If they canceled too. He rang the doorbell. No one answered. He rang again. Mr. Rodriguez appeared, looking grim. "Jamal, man, I'm sorry. I got a cheap used mower. I'll do it myself from now on. No lawns. No $45. No food. It's okay, Mr. Rodriguez. I understand." Jamal walked home dragging the mower. 4 hours of walking wasted. Hope lost. When he got to his apartment, there was a yellow envelope taped to the door. His heart raced. Eviction. He was 3 weeks behind on rent. His landlord, Mr. Kowalski, had threatened him before. Jamal opened the envelope with trembling hands. Final warning. $450 by Monday or eviction proceedings will begin. Monday. 2 days. Jamal went inside, closed the door, and slid down the wall until he was sitting on the floor. 16 years old. Alone. No money. No food. About to be homeless. He thought about calling social services. But that meant shelter. Different schools. Losing the only place he still had a connection to his grandmother. A knock on the door startled him. He got up, wiped his eyes, and opened it. A tall man in a dark suit stood there. Arab, maybe 40 years old, serious expression. "Jamal Washington?" "Who wants to know?" "My name is Ibrahim. I work for Faisal al-Mansuri. You saved his daughter's life yesterday." Jamal's stomach churned. "I don't want money. I already told you that. I'm not here to offer you money." Ibrahim held out a white envelope. "I'm here to deliver this." Jamal took it hesitantly. Inside was a handwritten letter on expensive paper. "Jamal, you saved Noor, my 5-year-old daughter. She has cerebral palsy and severe asthma. Yesterday, when her inhaler failed, I thought I would lose her like I lost my wife 3 years ago. You don't know me, but I need to thank you in person. Please come have dinner with us tomorrow Sunday, at 6 p.m. This isn't charity. It's gratitude. Faisal al-Mansuri." The address was printed below. Lake Shore Drive. The most expensive area in Chicago. "I can't accept," Jamal returned the letter. Ibrahim didn't take it. Mr. al-Mansuri rarely asks for favors. He's asking for one. A meal. A conversation. Nor wants to meet the boy who saved her. I don't have appropriate clothes for. It doesn't matter. Come as you are. Ibrahim placed a second card in his hand. This is my number. If you need a ride, call. The driver will pick you up at 5:30 p.m. Before Jamal could protest, Ibrahim went downstairs. Jamal stood still with a letter and card in his hands. Dinner with a billionaire. It seemed like a trap. It seemed impossible. But it was Sunday. A day when he had absolutely nothing to eat. He looked at the eviction notice. $450 by Monday. Impossible to get. His cell phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. Jamal, this is Mrs. Chun. My husband told me about the lawns. I have cleaning work at my church, 3 Sundays a month, $20 each. Interested? Jamal typed his reply with trembling hands. Yes. Thank you very much. $60 a month. It wasn't enough, but it was something. A second message arrived. Private number. Mr. Washington, I noticed that you are an exemplary student at Lincoln High. We are offering a special $500 scholarship for students in need. Applications close Monday. Interested? Counselor Brooks. Jamal paused. Counselor Brooks had never approached him before. Suddenly a scholarship appears just when he needs it. Third message. Another private number. Jamal Washington? The Horizons Youth Mentoring Program is accepting applicants. Includes financial aid. Call 312-555-0147. Very convenient. Very specific. Very suspicious. Jamal called Ibrahim. Hello. Was it you? The messages? The job's showing up. Silence. Mr. Al-Mansuri has a lot of contacts. He may have mentioned your situation to a few. I didn't ask for this. No. You saved his daughter's life without asking for anything in return. That makes you rare, Jamal. And Mr. Al-Mansuri doesn't let rare people suffer when he can help. I don't want charity. It's not charity. It's opportunity. You still have to apply. You still have to work. He's just opening doors. It's up to you to walk through them. Jamal hung up, his mind racing. Sunday. Dinner with a billionaire. Opportunities appearing out of nowhere. It seemed too good to be true. An experience had taught Jamal that when something seems too good to be true, it usually comes at a price. But his stomach was growling. The eviction notice weighed heavily in his pocket. And the image of Noor, that little girl coming back to life in his arms, wouldn't leave his mind. He picked up his phone and typed a message to Ibrahim. I'll be ready at 5:30 p.m. Across town, Faisal Al-Mansuri read the message on his screen and smiled. Ibrahim, did he accept? Yes, sir. Great. Faisal looked at Noor, who was playing with blocks on the Persian rug. Tomorrow, we start changing that boy's life. Whether he likes it or not. Because Faisal Al-Mansuri didn't take no for an answer when it came to protecting the man who had saved his daughter. And Jamal Washington was about to discover that accepting dinner with a billionaire meant entering a world where gratitude came with power, opportunity came with expectations, and where nothing, absolutely nothing, was as simple as it seemed. Sunday, 5:30 p.m. A black Mercedes pulled up in front of Jamal's building. A driver in a suit got out and opened the back door. Jamal got out wearing the only pair of dress pants he owned, inherited from his grandmother, too big, held up by an old belt. A white shirt with a slightly yellowed collar. Clean sneakers with a visible hole. Neighbors watched from their windows. Mr. Kowalski, the landlord, was smoking at the entrance. Washington, don't forget. Monday. $450 or you're out on the street. Jamal nodded and got into the car. The ride was silent. The driver didn't speak. Jamal watched Chicago pass by the window. Neighborhoods changing from rundown to clean, from clean to luxurious. Lake Shore Drive. Glass and marble mansions overlooking Lake Michigan. The car stopped in front of a huge gate. Security checked the list and waved. The gate opened, revealing an immense property. Perfect gardens, fountains, polished stone paths. Jamal swallowed hard. The mansion door opened. Ibrahim was there, smiling. "Welcome, Jamal. Mr. Al-Mansuri is waiting." The interior was like a museum. Crystal chandeliers, double marble staircases, art that Jamal had only seen in schoolbooks. Everything screamed money, power, a completely different world. "Jamal." A warm voice echoed. Faisal Al-Mansuri came down the stairs. No suit. A simple dress shirt, casual pants. A genuine smile. "Thank you for coming. It means a lot." "Mr. Al-Mansuri." "Faisal. Please." He shook Jamal's hand firmly. "Come on. Noor is eager to meet you." They entered a huge room. Noor was sitting in an adapted chair, playing with a tablet. When she saw Jamal, her face lit up. You're the boy." Jamal knelt down beside her. "Hi, Noor. How are you?" "Better. Daddy took me to the doctor. I have a new inhaler now." She showed him the blue device. 3. One for home, one for the car, one for school. "That's great. You saved me. Daddy said I stopped breathing and you knew what to do." "I just did what I learned." Noor took his hand. "Thank you for not walking away like the other people." Something tightened in Jamal's chest. Dinner was served on a giant table. Arabic dishes Jamal had never seen before. Kabsa, hummus, fatish, spiced lamb. More food than he had eaten in a month. "Please eat," Faisal encouraged him. "Don't be shy." Jamal ate slowly, trying not to look desperate, but he was starving. Faisal noticed but didn't comment. "Ibrahim told me you live alone." Jamal stopped chewing. "Sir. Since your grandmother passed away 6 months ago. You're 16, hiding from social services, working mowing lawns to survive." Faisal put his fork down on the table. "Jamal, that's no life for a teenager." "I get by." "I know. And that's impressive. But it doesn't have to be that way." "I don't want charity." "I'm not offering charity." Faisal wiped his mouth with a napkin. "I'm offering an opportunity. A real job, at my company." Jamal frowned. "A job?" "Al-Mansuri Energy's internship program for talented young people. It pays $800 a month, part-time after school. It includes mentoring, training, real business experience." "I'm 16. And you saved my daughter when the adults walked away. Maturity doesn't come with age, it comes with character." Jamal looked at his plate. $800 a month. It would pay rent, food bills. He would be free. Why me? There are hundreds of kids more qualified. Faisal leaned forward. "Because when you saw a child dying, you didn't ask about her race, her religion, how much money her parents had. You saw a human being in need of help. That's the kind of person I want in my company." "But..." "Dad," Noor interrupted. "Can I show Jamal my room?" Faisal smiled. "Of course, Habibti." Ibrahim helped Noor up. She wore braces on her legs but walked slowly, holding onto the wall. "Come," she called to Jamal. He followed her upstairs. Noor's room was huge. Pink walls, shelves full of books, toys arranged perfectly. "I like to draw," she said, showing him a table full of colored pencils. "Want to see?" She opened a folder. Drawings of family. Noor and Faisal. Some included a woman, probably her deceased mother. The last drawing showed 3 people. A man, a little girl, and a teenager. "This is you," Noor pointed to the teenager. "You saved me. Now you're part of our family." Tears burned Jamal's eyes. "Noor, I'm not." "You're a hero. Dad said so. Heroes are family." They returned to the living room. Faisal was waiting with an envelope. "Jamal, I know you're behind on your rent. For $150, correct?" Jamal froze. "How did you?" "I have resources. And I have a proposal." Faisal slid the envelope across the table. "Inside is a check for $2,000. An advance for your first month of work plus a signing bonus." "I can't accept this." "You can. And you will. Faisal's voice hardened slightly. Jamal, you saved my daughter's life. The only reason she's here is because you didn't hesitate. Let me repay you. But what if I'm not good at the job? Then you'll learn. Everyone starts somewhere. Jamal looked at the envelope. $2,000. It would pay rent, buy food, keep social services away. And if I accept, there's no catch? No weird expectations. The only expectation is that you show up, work hard, and continue to be the decent person you are. Faisal held out his hand. Do we have a deal? Jamal looked at the hand. Then at Noor, smiling hopefully. Then at the envelope. He shook Faisal's hand. We have a deal. Excellent. You start Monday after school. Ibrahim will pick you up at 3:30 p.m. The driver took Jamal back. In the back seat, he opened the envelope. A $2,000 check signed by Faisal Al-Mansuri was there, real, tangible. There was also a card. Jamal, if you need anything, food, clothes, medical help, call Ibrahim. No questions asked. No judgment. You are part of our family now. Faisal. The car stopped. Jamal got out. Mr. Kowalski was still standing in the driveway. Washington. Do I have your money or not? Jamal took out his cell phone, opened his banking app, and transferred $450 directly to the landlord's account. I just sent it. Kowalski checked his phone. His eyes widened. Where did you get that money? Honest work. Jamal walked past him. And Mr. Kowalski? I'll pay the next 3 months in advance too. That way I won't have to see your face every day. He climbed the stairs, entered the apartment, and fell onto the bed. For the first time in 6 months, he slept without hunger, without fear, without despair. Because sometimes, doing the right thing doesn't bring immediate rewards. But when it does, it changes everything. Across town, Faisal was putting Noor to bed. Daddy, I like Jamal. Me too, Habibti. Is he coming back? Yes. Many times. Good. Noor closed her eyes. Now I have a big brother. Faisal kissed her forehead. Now we have a bigger family. And while Noor slept, Faisal looked at the photo on the nightstand. His wife, who had died 3 years ago of cancer. She had always said, money means nothing if it doesn't help those in need. I'm trying, my love, he whispered. I'm trying to make you proud. Because in the end, it wasn't about billions in the bank. It was about using power to make a difference. And Jamal Washington, the 16-year-old boy who spent his last $5 to save a stranger, deserved every difference Faisal could make. 6 months later, Jamal Washington was sitting in the Al-Mansuri Energy office, reviewing financial reports. No more mowing lawns. No more going hungry. No more hiding. He now wore a suit that Faisal insisted on buying for him. He worked 20 hours a week after school, earning $800 a month. He was learning about business, renewable energy, leadership. But it wasn't just work. Faisal enrolled him in a college prep course. He paid for a math tutor. He connected him with an advisor who helped him apply for full scholarships. Jamal, Ibrahim entered the office. Mr. Al-Mansuri wants to see you. In the main office, Faisal was on the phone speaking Arabic. He motioned for Jamal to sit down. When he hung up, he smiled. I have news. Good or bad? Excellent. MIT, Stanford, and the University of Chicago have offered you full scholarships. Jamal stopped breathing. What? Your grades improved. Your letters of recommendation were exceptional. And your essay about saving Noor touched all the committees. Faisal slid envelopes across the desk. The choice is yours. Tears burned Jamal's eyes. I never thought. You deserve it, Jamal. Every opportunity. But what about the job here? There will be a position waiting for you every summer. And when you graduate, if you want, an executive position. Faisal leaned forward. But it's your decision. It always will be. Noor entered, her braces clattering on the floor. Jamal. Jamal. Dad said you're going to college. He knelt beside her. Looks like it. Will you visit me? Every week. I promise. She hugged his neck. You're the best brother in the world. Something broke inside Jamal. He hugged her tightly. A year later, Jamal was at his high school graduation ceremony. The first person in his family to finish school. The first to go to college. Faisal, Ibrahim, and Noor were in the front row, applauding. When his name was called, the ovation exploded. Not just theirs, but the entire audience's. Because Jamal's story had spread. The boy who spent his last $5 to save a life. The teenager who refused charity but accepted opportunity. After the ceremony, a local reporter approached him. Jamal, your story has inspired thousands. What would you say to young people in difficult situations? Jamal thought. I would say that kindness is not weakness. Doing the right thing, even when it costs you everything, is never a mistake. And sometimes one choice, one moment, can change everything. The reporter smiled. And the billionaire who changed your life? He didn't change my life. Jamal looked at Faisal. He gave me tools. But I had to build it. 5 years later, Jamal graduated from MIT with honors. Faisal flew to the ceremony with Noor, now 11, walking better thanks to therapies her father had paid for. I'm proud of you, Faisal said, hugging him. I couldn't have done it without you. Wrong. You would have. Maybe it would have taken longer, but character like yours always wins. Jamal returned to Chicago. Not as an intern, but as the director of a new program, Al-Mansuri Second Chance Initiative. His mission? To find young people like him, forgotten, alone, struggling, and offer them real opportunities. In the first year, they helped 200 teenagers. Housing, education, jobs, mentoring. Jamal met each one personally. He saw his story in them. And he promised that none would go hungry again. 10 years after that day in the parking lot, Jamal was at a charity event. Impeccable suit, confidence that came from a decade of growth. Faisal took the stage. 10 years ago, my daughter almost died. A 16-year-old boy with nothing spent his last $5 to save her. Today, that boy is the director of a program that has changed thousands of lives. He gestured to Jamal. Jamal Washington, come here. Jamal walked up. The audience stood. This young man taught me that true wealth isn't in the bank. It's in character. In choosing to do the right thing when it would be easy to walk away. Faisal handed him a plaque. Jamal, we've renamed the program. It's now the Jamal Washington Foundation for Youth at Risk. Jamal held the plaque with trembling hands. I don't deserve this. You deserve everything. Faisal hugged him. My brother. Noor ran onto the stage, now 15, beautiful, healthy. Jamal, you saved my life. Now you're saving thousands. She hugged him. Thank you for not walking away. That night, Jamal returned to his old neighborhood. The building where he had lived was still there, decaying but familiar. He climbed to the 3rd floor. The apartment was empty now, but the memories remained. Jamal placed his hand on the wall. Grandma, I did it. I made you proud. He came downstairs and saw a teenager sitting on the steps. Black, thin, wearing worn clothes. Hey, Jamal sat down next to him. Are you okay? Just tired. Do you live here? I do. The boy looked at him. Did you live here too? Years ago. I know what it's like. Then you know it doesn't get better. It does. If you let people help you. Jamal took a card out of his wallet. My name is Jamal Washington. I run a program for young people like you. Food, housing, education, work. No judgment. The boy took the card, suspicious. Why? What's in it for you? A chance to give back. Someone helped me when I needed it most. Now it's my turn. What was his name? The guy who helped you. Jamal smiled. Faisal Al-Mansuri. A billionaire who saw more than a poor kid. He saw potential. And did it work? I'm here, aren't I? Graduated from MIT, running a foundation, helping hundreds. Jamal stood up. It can work for you too. If you want it to. The boy looked at the card. I'll think about it. Don't take too long. Opportunities don't wait forever. Jamal walked to his car, the Tesla that Faisal insisted on giving him as a graduation gift. Before getting in, he looked back. The boy was still holding the card. A few weeks later, the phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Mr. Washington? I'm the boy from the steps. You said to call if. Yes. What's your name? Devon. Devon Carter. Devon, I'm glad you called. When can you come to the office? Now. Now is perfect. Because the cycle continues. Kindness begets kindness. Opportunity creates opportunity. And a boy who was saved now saves others. This isn't just Jamal Washington's story. It's the story of each and every one of us. Of the power to choose kindness when it would be easy to walk away. Of seeing a human being, not a stereotype. Of believing that one person, one moment, one choice can change everything. Jamal spent his last $5 to save a life. And that choice didn't just save Noor. It saved him too. If this story touched you, if it reminded you that small acts have big consequences, subscribe to the channel and share it. Because the more people see that kindness wins, the more kindness there will be in the world. Comment on a time when you helped someone or were helped. Your story may inspire the next Jamal.